Most people only ever see the finished film, or maybe some behind the scenes footage on set, but you rarely see the creation of the document that everything is built on, the screenplay. I'm in the middle of writing my next feature film, and I wanted to show what this part of the process looks like. It's the morning right now. I'm starting at about 11 a.m. I'm gonna show everything, sitting down, where I write, how I come up with ideas, how I get through writer's block, making progress, procrastination, going for walks, taking breaks, coffee breaks. Speaking of coffee, all right, that first sip of coffee. Why am I even trying to make a video or think about writing before I've had coffee? It's a crazy idea. All right, let's keep going. I'm gonna show you where I write. I'm gonna show you my writing desk first. In the past, I've written at coffee shops before, which I feel like is a very good environment. And in fact, maybe not today, but maybe tomorrow, maybe in another video, I will take a walk to the local coffee shop that I've written at before. But this is where I do all of my writing. MacBook Pro, and I just mirror it up to my monitor here just so that I can see it on a bigger screen. And that's pretty much it. All right, so the purpose of this video is to actually write. Like, I do actually need to write. My goal for today is to write 3 pages. So before I talk too much about like the writing process, let me just give you a general gist of what this screenplay or what this film is. I don't want to jump too much into the details yet, like as I'm writing it, but basically it is a sci-fi movie and it deals with a portal. So it is kind of a grounded sci-fi, but it deals with themes of physics, metaphysics, things that you would probably see in a Christopher Nolan film, but it is on a much smaller scale. So anyways, I want to read through the script where I'm at since I last left off. It's been a few months since I wrote anything in this, and so basically what I want to do is just go through the entire script and read where I left off. I'm on page 38 right now. So what I'm going to do is just read through the whole script and kind of reassess where I'm at. Like I remember where I left off. I remember what scene I left off on. I think that right now the opening scene is not as strong as it could be. And I remember where I left off, which was like this sort of dream sequence scene that was happening. And I could not crack the way that it was going to happen, because I remember as I started writing it, it's like, it's so easy to fall into like the cliches that you think of when you think of like a dream sequence. Like it's something when you're writing a film, you think of a scene and automatically you think of a movie scene idea of that scene. It was probably a week or two ago, the idea came to me of like how to write that scene. So I'm actually excited. I think I know how to write that scene, which was the last thing that I left off on that was kind of difficult to crack. But anyways, these are my thoughts before I read the script and go back through it. So now I'm going to sit down, read through it, and then we'll come back and I'll tell you where I'm actually at. Also, as I'm doing this, I'm going to have a Word document open. So as I'm reading through the script, if there's anything that I have notes on, I can just quickly write them down so I don't have to like stop and try to make changes and forget any thoughts that I had while I'm reading it. All right, I'm almost done reading through it. It's taken me a while. I know my first rule was like, don't rewrite stuff that you've already written, but I started doing that. Like here and there, I'd see something and I just make little changes. But I'm gonna take a break and eat some lunch because I wanna read these last 10 pages and then have it like fresh on my mind. That way I can kind of talk through what I thought about everything and where I'm at and what I'm gonna write next. All right, this is the post-lunch chill zone, where you just chill out on the couch for a second. You know what I mean? You just ate a sandwich. The whole thing about this is it's like a 3-page average. There might be one day you write 1 page. There might be one day you write 4 pages. So that's still only 5 pages. Whatever. I think I'm gonna get some coffee. Post-lunch coffee time. All right, back at it with the old jitter juice. Oh, that's hot. All right, time to go for a walk. Finished reading it. Let's hear my thoughts. You know, I talked about like where I thought the script was at before I read through it. now I'm kind of have read through it. I don't know, from my impression of it where it is right now, it's like, it is rough. I have the notes, like as I'm going, I'm writing the notes down of things that I want to address or change. But the goal, like, you have to stay focused in getting the first draft done. Like I'm reading through and saying like, oh, I want to change this. I don't like how this scene goes into that scene, or I don't like the dialogue in the scene, or whatever it is. But you have to get through the first draft first. Like it needs to just be, that is the goal, get to the first draft. So that's what I'm gonna do. All right, now that that walk is over, let's sit down and get to it. Now I've got to write 3 pages. That shouldn't be too hard, but I really only have like maybe an hour left. So let's see what I can do. You know, one thing that I do that helps me a lot is I listen to music while I'm writing. Some people will say not to do this because you might be like writing this amazing scene while you're listening to some Hans Zimmer and you're writing this like crazy, cool, epic, emotional scene. And then when you go to read it, or like somebody, like an exec in an office somewhere is just reading it, like there's a disconnect because you're listening to this like crazy, emotional, epic music or whatever. You don't really want the music to like influence what you're writing. It just depends. It really depends. And usually like I'll pick a certain soundtrack, a playlist of music for that project, and I'll usually listen to a song that is kind of like neutral, that just like gets me in the world and space of that movie and location and stuff. But for this one, I have a very distinct and specific soundtrack. Like I know what I want the soundtrack to be. I know what I want the music to sound like, what I want the score to sound like. So I have curated, I've curated a playlist for this project. And then from there, like when I listen to the songs that I've put in this soundtrack, it really just gets me like into the right headspace. So it's even like just listening to it before I go to write a scene, or listening to it while I'm writing a scene. And then once I get the scene down, then like go through it again without the music and maybe just muffled. It just really helps me focus and kind of get into the tone of the movie. Okay, I finished writing. I got almost 2 full pages done, which is crazy because this is like literally that last hour of my writing day. And even though I didn't get the full 3 pages done, I did get 2 pages done. But what I forgot about is that I actually have the entire ending of the film already written, which is like 10 pages long. I actually forgot about that the first thing that I did on this screenplay is that I wrote the ending of the film first. And then I also have like a bunch of other scenes written throughout. So like, you know, some of these scenes are like 5 pages long. They're in like a very rough form. I technically have almost like over 50 pages of this written already. So 2 pages, not bad. I got that part of the scene written that I wanted to. I mean, this was the first day of me jumping back into the script. So like, I take away more than anything what this is like getting back into the headspace of the movie. And that's what this is. The first day jumping back in, getting acclimated. Getting 2 pages out of 3 is actually not bad at all. I was a little bit worried that I wouldn't get any pages written today. So 2 is good. For now, I'm gonna try to unwind, turn my brain off, and get some rest, get some sleep, and then get back at it again another day. All right, what up? It's a new day. I'm gonna go get some lunch right now. I spent the morning thinking about the script. It was good to have a full night's sleep, and I woke up today refreshed, thinking about the script, and I have some ideas of what I'm gonna do, what my plan for today is, my writing plan. So I'm gonna talk about that as I drive to go get some food. The thing is, like, when I read through the script, I felt like there was some things that obviously, like, it's the first draft, and when I go through, like, here's the thing. I wrote this script, the last time I wrote on it was a few months ago. Let me just park. I feel like when I read through the script, there were sort of things that are deeper and underlying in the story, like the main character's reason or motive. I felt like I could simplify that a lot. Feel like I can see a much stronger, simplified version of what I have so far. I don't want to waste time writing a scene that might not even make it into the film. So my goal moving forward is, for today, my goal is to write a beat sheet, basically like a 2-page document, could be more, but basically I'm going to go through and write out every scene just in a sentence format in bullet point form. That way I can really kind of figure out sort of like a roadmap of where the story is going and what the character is dealing with, because it's much easier to see it on like a more condensed, smaller level in just like sentence format. And that'll help me just kind of like play with ideas and make sure that like the underlying pacing and motivation and how certain things are introduced into the story all have like a really nice pacing leading up to the point that I'm at in the story. And I think I want to do that for the whole film before I really get into the detail of like writing each specific scene. So anyways, this is a long-winded way of saying my plan for today is to do a beat sheet. Anyways, I'm gonna go get my food and I'll come back out here and tell you what I got for lunch. All right, what did I get? Chipotle. That's right, burrito time. All right, I'm gonna go back, eat, maybe get some coffee, and then start writing. What's up, guys? Now I'm at the gym, and as I've been driving here, today is another day of writing, but it's been more like as I've been driving, I've been having all of these ideas about the film, like everything that's been kind of, that I've been sort of up against on things I think the script needs improvement with. Like my mind has just been like circling those and trying to attack and fix those problems. And it's like starting to slowly float to the surface, the fixes to those problems. That is part of the writing process. Like get saturated, get soaked into the world of the movie and let these ideas come to you. And they will. But yeah, catch up later when I'm actually sitting down and writing. So. All right, what's up, guys? So I'm back home. The whole day I've been ruminating on these ideas that I've come up with and what the thing is that I need to write next. My goal, my plan of action is to focus on that and focus on the beat sheet and get the outline in a good place before I continue on the rest of the script. Excited to do this because it's more of a sketch phase where I can like move scenes around and all that stuff. Also, by the way, since my last video, we've hit 10,000 subscribers. So I want to thank everybody that's clicked and subscribed, because that literally like blows my mind. I just started uploading videos a few months ago and I thought it would maybe take me like a year to get 1,000 subscribers. So to already be past the 10,000 mark is like crazy to me. So again, thank you guys so much for subscribing. All right, let's get to writing. All right, so I've been writing here now for a couple of hours and I think I'm done for tonight. I've basically gotten about 1.5 pages done of the outline, and it's pretty good for now. Also, just to show you, I've got a few other documents aside from the main one where I just have like different bits of information. One where it's like I figured out how to lay out Act 2, and so I have a document with that. So all in all, I've basically jumped back into this screenplay, started writing the script where I knew that I left off and needed to pick back up, read through the script, kind of analyzed and reassessed where everything was at, and sort of pivoted a little bit into where I think the best use of my work would be right now, which would be writing more of like a layout. Because coming back to it after months of not having written on it, really like allowed me to view it with like a fresh perspective and kind of see like what it needs at this point. And I think where it's heading right now is really strengthening it a lot. I do think it's still important to get like the full draft written, like the full first draft written, but I do just want to outline the bullet points first to have a little bit more of a roadmap of the scenes that I'm going to write to finish the first draft. And I think what I'm doing right now is helping a lot, because the first act is sort of like the foundation of the rest of the movie. Everything else is going to kind of springboard off of that. So I do want to make sure the first act is in like a pretty solid place, and like the themes and the characters and everything is going to carry through from that first act. So anyways, I think this is in a good place. I'm probably going to wrap this video up here. I think my next step is going to be to continue this outline until I have it finished. And then once I do that, then I'm going to dive back into continuing to write the scene. So hopefully in the next video that I do on this with the writing process, hopefully I will have the outline finished and I'll be jumping back into Act 2 on the script. And but anyways, I'll keep you guys updated on that. And thanks for watching this video. If you like more of this kind of stuff, please subscribe. Again, thank you so much to everybody that's subscribed. I can't believe that we're past 10,000 subscribers. That's just crazy to me. If you haven't subscribed yet, do so. And let me know what you guys think in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. And until next time, later.